the fit. Oh, damn. Sometimes she comes out. Sometimes I just leave her alone and I let her live. So I have 2 clients today. I also have to call Terry. We're gonna try and talk about renting her space a couple days a week and being in Sugarloaf while working there, because I don't want to bartend anymore. Definitely had the realization that quite a number of people were like, why the fuck did you do that? And fuck y'all, first of all, because we thought it was an alright idea. We're trying it. We don't like it. Restaurant life is not for me, which is okay. Glad I realized it now than, maybe at a point where it's just too late, but sometimes, I feel like I just set myself into this place of despair. I don't even know how to call it without sounding emo as fuck. Sometimes I feel like I just go into this place of really negative place, and I kind of just am like, well, we gotta survive, that's it, and we just don't think straight. And now, sometimes it takes me a while, but when I finally get out of it and I wake up, I'm like, yes, we know what we have to do and we're gonna execute. We are 100% gonna take action and make changes, the needed changes that we need. I mean, I'm excited about it because I just like the fact that I kind of, as messy and as unclear so many things feel, and so many things kind of feel like they are right now. It scares me, but it equally is so exciting, and it's so cool. It's just so cool to me, that, I'm lucky enough to be out here to do what I want, and that I have the opportunity to make it happen for myself. So that's what we're doing. I wanted to make this because we got to keep it going. I told myself I was serious about this and that I was going to continue, and this is it. I go on a trip. I'm going on a trip with my friends this weekend. We're going up to Canada, and that's going to be pretty cool. Me and my 2 friends, we are all 21 now, so you guys should be scared. You all should be scared. Should be fucking scared, man. Nah, but we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be fun. I'm trying to go to a new gym this week too. I'm not going to a new gym. I'm just kind of gonna try out maybe 2 this week. I'm not really sure. I would prefer to go to a place that has striking classes, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, anything like that. I really have before I X myself out of this whole community, I just want to let everyone know that I am a very more MMA oriented type of, that's the style that I'm comfortable with. And I'm also, that's my preferred. I prefer that. I have been kind of looking for no-gi classes, but I would like to do some striking. So the 2 places that I found that I'm going to try and go to this week and next week, they unfortunately do no striking. They have some no-gi. So we're going to try and go on those days. Hopefully I have time. And be my nomad self. That's currently what we're doing. I am just a random girl that just happens to know how to do this and has been doing it for a long time, trying to find my place. So that's pretty interesting, I guess. When it comes to MMA and stuff, it's very complicated for me, I guess. I had a pretty toxic upbringing in my training, and it unfortunately kind of made me feel very complicated feelings to this sport. And I do feel that over the past couple years, I've been a little on and off, in ways that I really didn't want to be. I definitely had a vision for myself that by the time I turned 18, that I was going to be ready to go pro. I think at that time I definitely was. I just did not, unfortunately, have the opportunities or the means to do that. And it really sucked. And I really, for a while, was I'm just gonna give up because fuck this. I was very tired of just waiting for my time and waiting, for the right person, the right coach to kind of see me for the potential that I see in myself and help me get the opportunities I wanted. It was discouraging for a while because I wanted that opportunity more than anything. I still want that. It's genuinely one of the longest running things I think I've ever wanted to happen for myself. So when I first started, I was 12 years old when I first started, and I remember looking up at the TV and seeing these 2 MMA fighters, these 2 female fighters on the TV, UFC, whatever it was. And I remember kind of looking at the TV and telling the 2 coaches at the time that were there with me, I was like, I want to be one of those girls. Like, I want to be one of them, pretty much. And they told me straight up, like, you can, but you're gonna have to work hard. You're gonna have to work hard for it. You're gonna have to put in a lot of time and a lot of effort. And that moment on, for years of my life, I made sure I worked twice as hard as everybody in the room, in the class with me. I was 13, pretty much, like a couple months into it. They kind of were like, you are beating up all these kids. Like, we can't let you do that. So I got thrown into adult classes where I was treated and expected to work as the same as the adults that were in these classes with me. You know, as much as I feel like I could say about my past training throughout my whole entire MMA career, with any coach that maybe I've worked with, you know, that I'm grateful for everything that I've learned. As much as maybe it wasn't perfect, I wouldn't change a single part of my training and my past for anything, because it made me who I am today. And obviously as a girl too, you know, it's not always as common, I feel, to find many females in a class. I grew up pretty much being the only girl, and then on top of it being like a young child in classes filled with grown men. And you know, something that is as uncomfortable as it made me feel sometimes, and as singled out as you kind of sometimes get made to feel, was something that I grew up pretty much experiencing. So over time, I, you know, had to learn either sink or swim. You know, it was either you figure out how to, you know, hold your own and how to get better within this, or give up. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it was like that much, like I had my struggles and I had many disadvantages I felt at times, but again, like those I feel like are what made me into the fighter that I am. So fuck, man. I mean, that's the truth, I guess. You know, I could shit on so many things about it. I've had to really choose. I have a choice to make the best of it, or, you know, to wallow in the sorrows of everything that happened, pretty much. After a while, like I would say very soon into training, I realized that this was something not only that I wanted to do, but that I was meant to do. I often tell people, when they ask me about like the impact that it had for me, it changed my life. You know, I 100% believe I would not be this person that, you know, I gained so much confidence. Like, as much as I was broken down, like within it for so many ways, I was able to build myself back up through it. And there were not some great people along the way, but there were some really amazing people along the way that to this day impact me and how I choose to live my life. And in the most positive way too, I promise. And I've really built a big community for myself, you know, even if I'm not close with everybody that I once was, or we don't really talk on the way we used to, maybe, like, it's so different. And I really appreciate that, and I really love that about how this sport is. This is really the only sport that I've done that, like, consistently for as long as I have. So I'm not really gonna sit here and say that maybe it doesn't happen with other sports, but to me, like, there's just something about martial arts that brings people together and brings all different types of people together, maybe ones that you would not expect to get along the way they do, be compatible the way they are. And I think that's really awesome. I don't really feel like you see that a lot. Every day I think about it. And every day we're trying to figure out how to do it, I guess. Like, I've been pretty much training. This year will be 10 years I've been training. Like, I've hit 10 years of doing this. You know, trying to talk more about, like, some more traditional aspects I feel that were really, like, relevant in the training that I had, being brought up in that. It's easy. I don't know really how else to explain it, just because I was a kid when I started, so it is something that I genuinely grew up doing. Some of the things that, like, I learned, I feel like it was, like, no different than, like, your parent kind of being like, these are the rules and the core values of how we live. And that's, I guess, why, like, it is the way I explain it sounds the way it does, where I feel like a lot of things that were taught to me, like, were things like core values that I took on with me as if, like, lessons of, like, life lessons. So as I got older, you know, as I began to question everything, and, you know, after many events that had happened over time that kind of just drove me to this very negative place, I kind of really began to question and kind of rebel against a lot of these traditions, and a lot of, even just in, like, my own life, not even just like MMA, but I was in survival mode for a lot of that. So I felt like I just did what I just kind of was this blank slate of a person, and there was just not much, like there was so much internally, but like on the outside it was much easier to just be like angry and to be bitchy. Like I don't know how else to say it. Like I was kind of a bitch, but more in the way of like trying to protect myself and having really no other way except, you know, just barking at people pretty much. Like, I don't know. There were lots of things that like I had learned, and a lot of like, you know, things about the sport that I talk heavily about that to a lot of people that I feel are issues within it. You know, I lost a lot. I feel like I lost a lot of value to certain things, you know, like I developed my own new meaning of it, you know, that's still positive, but like doesn't so much ego and so much like I've unfortunately been to a lot of places where you do honestly meet a lot of people with egos, and they think that they're, you know, something about this, like I said, there's something about this sport, like I feel that you just think like you're kind of above a lot of things, because like people will feel that they are maybe above a situation or certain things that people have to do because we're human, we're people. You know, like I feel like people step on the mat and they think they're more than a person. You're walking around thinking you're like a god, and I don't really think I think that's really harmful. And, you know, especially like as a higher ranked person, you know, I think the influence that has on people on a lot of like newer belts and people just starting out and everything, that there's just a lot of ego sometimes, and it's inevitable. Like I think no matter where you go, it's always kind of gonna be there. I mean, even if you are humble, even if you know, kind of know how to not always present yourself that way, like it still happens. You know, there's still people that feel that way, unfortunately. The environment that creates, like they look up to them in a way, like they idolize these people that, again, like when you get off the mat, like you're still a person. You still gotta eat, you still gotta sleep, you got a job, like you're a person. You know, I really don't like when people walk around, like I try to give everybody as best as I can. I try to give people, you know, the respect of, you know, you are a person, you deserve, you know, basic respect, guys, like, you know, basic levels, minimum levels of kindness and understanding, until proven otherwise, of course. But I just, you know, and I feel like I would meet so many people that I try to be respectful to others, you know, and I feel that it's very easy for people to get wrapped up in this mindset that like just because you're, you know, you step on the mats and you're different, you know, and not like in an egotistical way, like that you're better than someone else, the next person, because either you do this sport or you think you're hot shit. Like I don't know, I don't really fuck with that though, I'm gonna be real. So it's one thing to be like confident in your skill, and like I'm a little crazy, like I go to these, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm perfect. You know, at the end of the day, I guess I have a lot of experience. I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot. I'm just kind of at a point where I do have a lot of means to like understanding of how this shit goes. I try to be as nice as I can, guys. I'm gonna be real. It don't always work out that way. Sometimes we're misunderstood, I guess, about our reaction, but I just live my life kind of being okay with being misunderstood in certain things, and I understand that sometimes you kind of just have to let people think of you however they want, and you gotta move on. Like I gotta keep it rolling pretty much. So I'm not trying to hop around places. Like I definitely want to I want to like know what's out there, you know, in terms of like training, different gyms. I feel like everywhere you go, you will learn something, you know, different, maybe even about the same things. And it's really interesting. Like I love that part so much. Trying to find our place that feels right, you know. There are certain old attitudes that I have held on to. Personally, I think out of like spite, and now kind of affects the way I am as a martial artist, I guess. And I don't really love that a whole lot. I have to remind myself, I guess, like I struggle with like accepting the fact that like I've been doing this for 10 years, and like this is a skill, you know, this is something I've really love, and that I'm actually good at it, pretty much. Like I think I'm so dog shit, honestly. Like I don't even know what I'd be doing sometimes. Like I don't know, man. Like I think I'm good, but then I'm like, maybe we're all right, we're good, like we're good. But and now I've just, you know, I've dealt with a lot of discouragement. Regardless, I still kind of sit here and am stubborn and I'm like, yeah, that's nice. I'm still gonna do this. I kind of, you know, sometimes it's hard to be told what to do, people. I have my own business for a reason, you know. I do my own thing a lot of the time for a reason. I would spend a lot of time alone for a reason. Interesting, I don't even know. I'm a strange person. This shit is just fucking crazy. It's just a wild ride. There are a lot of like I think of like that the type of person that I was then, you know, how that played into my life outside of the gym and inside the gym. Now, you know, my new journey, guys, you know, is same goal. Like the goal is still the same, but the journey has changed quite a bit. I'm kind of starting to realize that I don't necessarily need a lot of things that I thought I needed to make this happen. I think a big part of it is also like, you know, if I want it, like I have to do it. If I want it enough, you know, I'll make it happen and I will, you know, continue to make the necessary changes. The goals are there. We want to fight professionally eventually. I want to compete more and I want to just be able to like bring back that balance in my life of being like enough, you know, a consistent training schedule and a consistent life schedule, I guess. But like I'm so convinced I can have both, guys. I'm so convinced I can do both. So this is me trying to prove it, I guess. We are kind of doing it. It's kind of cool. I just love this sport, man. Like I don't even know what else to say. Like there's something so amazing about it, and there's so many. It's kept me very grounded, and it's given me a lot of peace, honestly, throughout the years, and gave me so much more purpose and taught me so much. I learned so many valuable lessons through martial arts to the point where it really helped me progress so much sooner and progress so much faster in this short amount of time that I've been alive than I feel most people. Like I can look at a situation from it, you know, in two different lights, in a, you know, kind of negative light and also a very positive light, and it's given me a lot of like more positive things to do, I guess. I don't know. It's a positive aspect of my life that's a healthy way to cope with, you know, the things I struggle with dealing with. I always love telling them I hate working out. But I love to train. And I could do that for 4 hours. I could literally do it for 4 hours. Going to the gym, fuck that. Sorry, guys. Like, I know if I want to be a fighter, I gotta, like, get in more shape and I'll do it. But fuck that shit. I'm telling you. Fuck that. But fuck, I just hate that. But I just love training. It's so awesome. It's such a good way to move around. I walk around like a different person, knowing that I can protect myself, knowing that I can more than protect myself, you know, if I needed to. Like, honestly, we keep ourselves safe, you know. I think it's a useful skill. I think if you can learn it and you can take the time to like actually learn it a little bit, you should. I love fighting. I don't know what it is. I love it. I love the feeling. I love beating the hell out of people. I love getting beat up a little bit too. I don't know why. We can get into that more in another time, but I also like to get beat up. Something about sometimes like you get hit and switch just kind of flips and you're like, I'm literally about to go crazy right now. I can't believe I just said that, but true. So yeah, I don't know, man. That's all I got. So I'll continue with the rest. I still got the rest of the day to do. I have 2 clients. I have a client in a couple minutes, I think. Yeah, she's here, and gotta make some phone calls. So I will be getting back to you guys. I'll be getting back to this.